What's up, Grognard? Sam here, coming to you from the studio, and I am thrilled to do another unboxing for you all. We've done some pack openings recently, but it's been a minute since we did a full unboxing, so I'm super excited about this one. It is definitely a property that is near and dear to my heart, and I have probably first engaged with like 35 years ago. Whew. But I am very much looking forward to showing off this box. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about some of what's going on at Grognard Games and Hobbies coming up very soon. Of course, this weekend, Saturday, October 18th and Sunday, October 19th, is the Bazaar in Batavia. It will be at the Batavia location. We got lots of space. We got lots of goodies in store. People have been bringing in some really, really cool stuff. And I think everybody's going to be very happy with what they see. Of course, it's not too late to drop your stuff off. If you're seeing this video on Tuesday, October 14th, you may think that you only have until close of store tonight to drop your things off. But guess what? Guess what? You actually now have until Thursday at the end of the day. We wanted to extend that deadline to make sure that everybody could get their stuff in. We know the holiday weekend, some people might have been out of town. We know it's a lot of stuff to do with cataloging everything, getting labels affixed to everything. So we wanted to give people a little bit of extra time. We're going to have extra people on staff to assist. We didn't know that we would necessarily have some extra people around with scheduling and that sort of stuff. So the fact that we're going to have extra people means that we can extend the drop-off deadline a little bit, get even more stuff for people to pick up this weekend. Of course, anything you sell, you get 100% of that back in store credit. Drop-off can only be done at the Batavia location, so make sure that you drop it off there. Don't go to Algonquin or Roselle, only in Batavia. As for buying, come ready for the deals. There's going to be a lot of great stuff, and I'm sure some really great prices. There's going to be some highly collectible items as well, priced accordingly, of course. But there's just going to be a lot of wonderful stuff. In addition to that, I don't know if I should say anything. Should I say anything? Oh, what the hell? I'm going to say something. We are going to have 25% off all TCG singles all weekend long at all three of our locations. So while the bazaar is running, Saturday the 18th, Sunday the 19th, you will be able to pick up singles at 25% off at any of our three locations. In addition to that, you can also use the code FALLMAGIC25 online to secure that 25% off discount as well. So get your singles. It's a great time for it. And we've just been taking in so much stuff recently. And it's been great for us. And obviously we've been able to offer a lot to folks, but, gives us the opportunity to maybe like do this every once in a while. So who knows? Stay tuned. There may be more. But in the meantime, we just really, really can't wait to see you all for the bazaar. It's going to be a great time. Always is. I'm sad that I'm going to miss it this year. Of course, some of you may know I also work as an actor, and we're going into third weekend of the show that I'm currently in. And it's been a great time. It's up at the Oil Lamp Theater in Glenview. The production is Gaslight. So if you are interested in, checking out what I do when I'm not at Grognard's, head on over to Oil Lamp Theater and check it out. We run until November the 2nd. So a nice long run. We're doing about 6 or 7 shows a week. So it's the real deal, paid professional theater. So come and check it out if you get the chance. But now let's move on over to what we're talking about today. And I'm excited about this because this is a property that I, knew absolutely nothing about as a child, and yet bought a few books. And then when I was a teenager, bought a few more books, and it became something that I just loved. And I love the lore. I've read quite a few of the novels, then kind of fell off with it for a while and didn't really do anything with it until I started going to Grognard Games. And then I attended, Friday nights in Roselle a few times and had a great time, but I was just so busy that I couldn't always make it, especially with shows, Friday nights, etc. But working at the stores provided me the opportunity to engage with it again, pick up some models, get some models painted, and just kind of, even if I'm not actively playing it, at least have some connection to it. Of course, by now you probably know what I'm talking about. It is indeed Battletech, and we are talking about Battletech Gothic. This is the new box set, a Battletech Continuum game. For those that don't know, Catalyst Game Labs announced, I think late last year, early this year, the Battletech Continuum. This was an opportunity to explore sort of alternate pockets of the Battletech universe universe. Alternate timelines. So the first one we're getting is Gothic. We're gonna get some ray guns. We're gonna get other really cool stuff down the road, but we're starting off with Battletech Gothic. This is kind of, your grim, dark Battletech, as if things weren't grim enough in the Battletech universe. We got some redesigns on the mechs, which is super cool. Nothing too wildly different from what we're used to. But we got a whole new universe to explore, and we thought, what better time to do that with the release of Battletech Gothic to retail game stores. Of course, this is the back of the box. You see all your mechs here, including that Atlas over there. We got the Marauder, the King Crab, Phoenix Hawk, Rifleman, Firestarter, Urban Mech, and the Scorpion. And in addition to that, you get a nice little universe primer, rule book, sheets, map, Alpha Strike cards, so you can integrate them into Alpha Strike. And of course, one of my favorite things, the novellas. I enjoy some Battletech fiction. I enjoy some short fiction like you find in Shrapnel. This box is the property of the stores. This isn't actually my personal box. This is going to be used for, you guessed it, demos. So stay tuned. We're probably going to be looking into running some demos up in Algonquin to start with. So Algonquin area Battletech folks, if you're interested in seeing what Battletech Gothic has to offer, keep your eyes peeled, because we will certainly have some demo days, demo nights, as well as if you just walk into the store and we're not too busy and say, hey, I really want to check out that Battletech Gothic, we will be happy to walk you through. This plastic's giving me a hard time. There we go. I like to just, open it for real on the channel, because it's fun that way. Otherwise, I could have already gone through everything, right? I want it to be new to my eyes as well as your eyes. So I have not seen a lot of this stuff yet. Obviously I read some articles here and there, and I have, of course, tried to keep up on it as best I can, because I am definitely interested in what they're going to be doing with it. It's interesting because the game itself, again, it's a different beast. It is not your dad's Battletech. Speaking of your dad's Battletech, again, I came to Battletech probably around 1989, 1990. I was a fan of Robotech and later Macross, and I picked up the Battletech Compendium, Rules Compendium, I believe, way back when, and that was my first Battletech book, and I bought it simply because I recognized the Marauder on the front as an officer's battle pod from Macross. So that was why I got it. Didn't really know what it was, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. I enjoyed all the information. Of course, look at this. We got this huge map, naturally, your hex map. Battletech, we got the one side filled with a rocky, flaming land, and then the other side, of course, is your kind of your urban environment. Very cool. I need a bigger table for this. Then we got our Abomination record sheet. Of course, Abominations are really what you're fighting against here in the Battletech grim Gothic future. We got our record sheets here, of course, for our mechs as well. There's the King Crab. I'll go ahead and slice this open as well so we can take a look at some of these. And then look, we got our first little preview of the actual mechs. These models look great. I really think they've done a great job with this. Quality wise, I think they're probably some of the best models that Catalyst has produced, quite frankly. They've got a nice level of detail, and they again, for what they are, for being the kind of the pre-assembled models, I think that they've done an excellent job, and I really kind of look forward to see what they do next. These also are scale wise are a little bit bigger than your standard mechs. You'll see the difference if you're familiar, of course, with the mainline Battletech version of these particular mechs. Then you will be able to tell kind of right away. I had a hell of a time getting these open, especially because I don't want to nick anything, since it is the store's copy. But the again, just the quality of work that they've done here is quite great, and I think that it bodes well for the future. Again, not only for the Battletech Continuum stuff, but also for the mainline Battletech as well, just to kind of see where they go and what we might be able to see as far as some improvements go. We've gotten some really cool boxes recently coming out of the Mercenaries box, Legendary Heroes 3, etc., with some really great updates to some beloved favorites, and kind of alternate versions of certain mechs. But I think the opportunity opportunity to kind of go back maybe and redo some of the old school classics with the new design elements. It would be awesome. And, seeing more stuff that, was once maybe metal only, for instance, and getting that into plastic or getting different poses is always pretty cool. So let's go ahead, actually, while we're doing this, why not pull out the corresponding mech? So here's the King Crab, and there it is. Some nice heft to it. It feels great. It looks great. Again, just a lot of really nice detail. The Gothic style. We're getting lots of like spindly spikes and other sorts of things on here. Very much, paying homage to that kind of style of architecture, and just looks great. Really, really, really nice work there on the good old King Crab. And next up, we got the Atlas here, and the Atlas is one of the cool pieces of this puzzle because look at that. Where's its head? Where's its head? Well, the cool thing is it has different faction heads that you can attach to it, as well as different like bas relief backings that you can also put on. So some really, really cool stuff here. Again, you're getting an idea of that overall aesthetic with the spikiness, just that very much in that Gothic kind of almost cathedral-esque type arches and that sort of stuff. It's very, very cool. And again, the sculpt is great. The model itself just looks really, really good. I'm really digging this, and I think that they've done a great job with the new models. All right, next up, there it is, my favorite, the Marauder. And again, just a really, really great design overall for the Marauder. Some excellent. It is what it is, right? You can tell that this is the Marauder. There's no mistaking it for anything else, and yet it's got just some really, really nice little design embellishments that help draw it into that Battletech Gothic world. I just, if you're a fan of Battletech, I honestly, there's a part of me that's just like, I wouldn't understand why you wouldn't at least want to have these models, because I just think that they're really, really cool looking. And I know it's been a little bit divisive, so I mean, certainly that's just my opinion, but I'm digging it, and I can't wait to see again what they do next in the Battletech Continuum, because I think there's really some cool opportunities for them to be able to just do different things. The Rifleman, another classic Battletech mech here, and again, just some really nice design embellishments to bring it firmly into that Gothic aesthetic. Looking very, very cool here, especially on the front and up here. Again, those kind of arches almost look like a stained glass window there. Just some really, really cool stuff that they've done to alter these mechs for this Gothic Continuum world. Next up, we got the Phoenix Hawk, another one of my favorites. I'm a big fan of the Phoenix Hawk, and there we go. Looking very, very cool here. Again, very much fitting into that aesthetic. Really enjoying kind of the spikes and the design. It really works well, especially for the Phoenix Hawk. I think that's just a really super cool looking mech and redesign there for the Battletech Gothic world. Moving right along, here we go with the Scorpion. Of course, the Scorpion is right here, also looking very cool, fitting really well into its Gothic vibe. Spikes on the joints, the kind of almost stained glass window Gothic arches here. Very, very cool. Next up, we got the Firestarter. The Firestarter here also looking super cool. Digging that a lot. Just kind of that, the crown effect almost there. Again, the opportunity to kind of like go and redesign some of this stuff in a new aesthetic has got to be exciting for the folks at CGL. And I think that they've done a really nice job of it. The Urban Mech here, also, looking very much just like that, stubby knight in armor from, Gothic era, century of sub-fashion. Urban Mechs. But no, it definitely fits with the redesign they've done. It fits the aesthetic really nicely. And again, a lot of cool painting opportunities on these. We don't often necessarily think of Battletech as being like, a painterly, as much of a painterly sort of hobby, if you will, as say 40K or any of the other GW ranges. But I think that these models provide some really cool painting opportunities as well. All right. And then, of course, worth noting that the Abominations are our enemies here that we're fighting against. You got record sheets for them, Titans, Hulks, Tyrants, and of course all these different classes, kind of correspond in a lot of ways with the mechs themselves. So you get plenty of record sheets here to easily run a game, a campaign, etc. This right here. And then next up, we've got our novella. Again, one of my favorite parts about Battletech is the lore, the fiction. It's a universe that's been going for 40 plus years and has some incredible stuff. The breadth of it is easily on par with Warhammer, and Gothic, of course, provides just a new opportunity for authors to play in that universe, but in a completely alternate universe from the timeline that has been followed up until now. We get some really cool transfers here. Get transfers for all the different factions. Another really cool thing that they've done. I have not had a chance to use these yet, but I've heard they're fantastic. Some people were a little wary. It's like, oh, transfers with Battletech. I don't know how these are going to go, but apparently they're fantastic. Work really, really well. We got our alternate parts here for the Atlas. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at these because I think, again, these are something that folks will probably be excited about. The cool thing is that they've individually bagged these. And they've labeled them. So here you've got the Realm of the Blazing Light, Shining Kingdom of Avalon, and you get an idea of what that head is going to look like there, along with the backpack, and then the other embellishments there. Here we have the Realm of Blood and Steel Ironclad Alliance. Again, just a different kind of look. I mean, the customization aspect, that is just something super cool. I wish we'd seen more of that in Battletech prior to this. Obviously kit bashing and doing your own thing has been around for pretty much as long as the hobby's been around, but the opportunity to actually have kind of like official customization is super cool. The Realm of the Celestial Throne, Golden Unity, and then we've got the Realm of the Blood Dragon, Draconic Imperium, which of course is going to be like your house Kurita. Super cool looking stuff. Again, really, really cool that they did something like that. It's a shame in a way that it's just the Atlas, right? Like, wouldn't it have been cool if maybe the Marauder would have had some bits, or the King Crab? I could have easily seen those, having that, the Firestarter even. Any of them actually, but the fact that they've done it at all, super cool. Big fan of that. I think that's awesome. You got your dice. And of course, we get our cards for our Titans, our pilots, and in here also, I'll give you a quick preview of these if I can get this open in a fast and non-damaging manner. Because, of course, one of the most popular formats of Battletech these days, and certainly gets played a lot in Roselle on Friday nights, is Alpha Strike. And so, not to be left behind in any way, shape, or form, they indeed included Alpha Strike cards for the Abominations and all of the mechs as well. So you can easily port these over into an Alpha Strike-esque game if you want to, or of course you can go with the more classic Battletech. Now, the other thing that's neat about this, and I should probably mention, is that this is a full game in a box. You do not need any other piece of Battletech in order to run this game. You can just buy this box alone and you are done. If you so desire, which I think is also a really cool thing. It makes a really great entry point for folks, which I think is definitely was part of the plan. I think that they definitely wanted Battletech Gothic to be an entry point for new players, and they have done that, because here's your rule book, and it is a thick boy, and it has everything that you need to play the game in here. And I think that, again, they've just done a really good job of making it very accessible. Of course, Battletech has always done a really good job with their art. That has not been something that people have, okay, maybe not always, but for the most part has done a really good job with their art. And this is no exception. It looks really good. They've done a great job. I think kind of bringing you into the world, even in the rule book. We'll get into more of that in just a second, but again, if you've played Battletech, none of this is going to be earth-shattering, or new, but there's definitely going to be some stuff in here that might be a little bit different from what you normally see, and part of that is, of course, the introduction of the Abominations, but even that, I think, has had some analogs in the past. But yeah, you get scenarios in here, you get other really cool stuff, all the information about all the mechs and the Abominations as well, all your tables and everything. So super cool. Nice to have that rule book, obviously. And then we've got the Universe Primer. The Universe Primer is going to let you know exactly where and when things went wrong. The interesting thing about this is based off of what little I know right now, up until a certain point, everything is exactly the same. And then it all splits and it becomes a different universe from the classic Battletech universe. So again, pretty cool. You've got all your factions here, descriptions of all the factions. Again, really great art within. And this is just going to give you all your lore, all your background, everything you'd want to know about the universe. Of course, it's not necessary. If you just want to hit the table and roll some dice and have mechs, shoot at one another, then go for it. Some great painting reference material here, which is always cool. I love that stuff. It's always fun to just go your own way as well, which is always the option. You never have to go with what they show you, but it's cool to have nonetheless. And then we get our big universe map. I'm not going to fold this all the way out. Just because of space consideration, but here's the human sphere. Again, not incredibly different from things that we've seen before, but just fits into this aesthetic, and also, of course, is this universe as opposed to the classic Battletech universe. We got our nice sturdy cardboard reference sheet here. This is very, very nice, and of course slick, so you could easily mark on it with a dry erase. Don't know that you would need to. Then we got some terrain markers here for our hex map, which is super cool. And then we got our abominations. Abominations and extra mechs in cardboard, which is, I'm really hoping that we do see some abomination models at some point here in the near future. I think that would be great. I'm sure Catalyst is already kind of thinking about that. At least I hope they are, because I think it is something that people would definitely want to add to the game. In the meantime, of course, you can easily proxy stuff. Clearly there's some nice analogs from other game lines, Games Workshop, for instance, that you could easily port over if you wanted to, and utilize for those models in the meantime, while we wait for Catalyst to give us something. But there you go. There's the contents of Battletech Gothic. This box retails for $99.99. It is chock full of stuff, though. I mean, you're getting novella, rulebook, universe primer, a map of the human sphere. You're getting your dice. You're getting everything you need to play, maps, combat maps, etc. And of course, perhaps most importantly, definitely most importantly, you are getting the awesome models, including the customizable Atlas mech. Of course, my longtime personal favorite, the Marauder. They are a little bit larger. Like I said, you put this next to a regular Marauder, which I should have done. I have one not too far from me, but I'm not going to go grab it right now. But again, that kind of added sense of extra scale and heft to these models shows a quality shift, and I mean that in a good way. I mean, obviously, the quality has existed for Battletech. It's not like the quality was bad by any stretch, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do next, because I think that again, they have a really unique opportunity to explore what they do and what they do well in a different context, which is always really cool, I think, for game companies. And I think Battletech Gothic is a great step in that direction for Catalyst. And just to kind of it's funny, because I don't think necessarily that Battletech is too burdened by this. I do think that there are other games out there that might be, but still, you've got 40 years of lore and kind of baggage behind a game, and every time you produce something new, you kind of you try to make it fit. And sometimes that's easy to do, sometimes it's not, and it can also intimidate new players because they think, oh, I need to learn all of this before I can dive in. And not everybody's that way. Some people just dive in ignorant of it and never learn any of it, and other people they continue to try to learn as much as they can as they go along, but it's not essential to their play experience. However, that said, I know that some people, they are intimidated by that. They want to read a bunch of novels ahead of time. They want to, watch a bunch of YouTube videos. They want to get clued in, and it's easier now, obviously, than it ever has been before. But I do think that it still is a potential barrier, and eliminating that barrier by producing something that is obviously the thing, right? This is clearly Battletech, but just a little bit different and a new starting point. And the fact that we're going to get multiple, versions of this Battletech continuum, I think is really cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Catalyst does next, especially the ray guns. That is definitely my vibe, my aesthetic, and I can't wait to see some previews from that. But in the meantime, Battletech Gothic, I think, is super cool. I would love to get it to the table. I'd love to kind of see how it works and what's different about it. But I'm excited that game companies, feel a level of freedom to take some sort of calculated risks. Warlord recently did it, I think, with Conflict 47 coming back in such a big way. All the new plastic that they're making for that game, building off of, obviously off of Bolt Action version 3, but also kind of taking the guardrails off and being able to do all sorts of just crazy stuff is really cool. And I think that Battletech Gothic sits similar in that vein, because it's like let's have aliens and monsters and let's really kind of expand what Battletech means. And that might not necessarily be for everyone, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be, because all it has to do is be for someone. And I think there are plenty of people out there that are looking forward to getting their hands on this if they haven't already. And if you are one of those people, head over to grognardgames.com. You can purchase it online. Of course, we ship it anywhere in the continental United States. Also, come on into the store. We have copies at all 3 locations: Grognard Games Roselle, Batavia, and Algonquin. We look forward to seeing you there. Also, don't forget the Bazaar this weekend, October 18th and 19th at Grognard Games Batavia. Will be an amazing time. Always is. So many cool finds. I'm sure that if you come in, you will find something that you take home with you. There's no way that you're going to walk into the Bazaar and not find something. That's a Sam guarantee. But also lots of great things on the horizon, as always, for Grognard Games. Check the event calendar for everything that's coming up. Friday Night Magic every Friday night at all 3 locations. Pokemon League in Algonquin on Saturdays. We also have, of course, organized game nights for every game, including Battletech. Battletech Fridays in Roselle are a staple. One of my favorite communities that steps into Grognard Games, quite frankly. They're such an amazing group. They come in, they're lively. They're obviously having a good time. To see the way that it's expanded and grown, to see people bringing their partners in, people bringing their kids in, buying models, grabbing snacks, and just having a great night. It's always so cool to see. And again, I really, quite frankly, just adore our Battletech community. So if you want to try it out, come on in on a Friday night, because they are incredibly welcoming. You don't have to have anything. First time I walked in, I was like, I'm just going to watch. And they're like, no, you're not. And the next thing I knew, I had models, I had dice, and I was learning the ropes of Alpha Strike, which I had never played before. So just such an incredible group, and really kind of exemplifies the communities that we try to foster at Grognard Games. So if you want to be a part of that community, come on into Roselle on Friday nights. And if you want to be a part of any of our communities, then by all means, check the events page, see what's going on, and come on in, sit down at a table and, sling some spells, jam some games, Commander Sunday Fun Day, or, check out one of our Lorcana nights. Any game has a community attached to it. And, really, we want you to be able to find your game, but more importantly, we want you to be able to find your community. It's very important, and something that we believe very strongly in. So check out the Discord, of course, another great way to clue yourself in to everything that's going on at Grognard Games. In the meantime, though, take care of yourselves, take care of one another, stay safe out there, and always roll responsibly.